Let's discuss this with Robert Gutsche, a senior lecturer at Lancaster University in the UK. Robert, welcome to the programme. I'm going to ask you a legal question, okay? And I know your explanations always hit to the core. The issue is this, and it's about what the Supreme Court decided about New York State residents being able to carry guns outside their home. The Second Amendment was written 200 years ago. Does American law not address the current status of things rather than base itself on what happened 2 centuries ago?
Well, that is, of course, a legal interpretation. But yeah, from the notion of American federalism, first of all, there's a distinct difference between how states can make some of their decisions and the rule of federal courts and laws. And that's kind of a fundamental thing that kind of goes into this, which speaks to some of what Joe Biden was just saying. But yeah, I mean, there are fundamentalists who are absolutionists who believe that the Constitution should not change and take into account some of this development over time. We have that same sort of issue with issues of privacy, right? I mean, the internet obviously wasn't there. Newspapers weren't there. Telephones weren't there. Ways of surveillance weren't there. But this comes down to some of those fundamental issues of what people believe the United States is founded on and what its purpose is. Certainly, we do believe that the Constitution can be changed. It has been ratified and changed with amendments, but it's a very long process that takes in the account of a majority of voters across 50 states. This fundamental issue of the right to bear arms is one that is part of our natural sin.
So looking at the bill that is going to now be presented to the U.S. House of Representatives, they should vote on it in the next few hours, then it could become law if Joe Biden signs it. What's the issue here in terms of progress towards keeping Americans safer from gun violence? Because only 15 Republican senators voted in favor of that bill. That means 2/3 of their colleagues in the Senate didn't want to back this legislation. Therefore, okay, some progress is good, but surely, as many people are saying, this is nowhere near enough.
Well, here are a couple of the issues that I think we could look at this through. One is that because this is focusing so much on background checks and not on changing culture, I don't know how government does that, but certainly we could talk about changing gun culture in the United States. The background checks are welcomed by some on the Democratic Party to try and keep the guns out of the hands of people who, quote unquote, shouldn't have them. But this is a focus on individuals, not on culture. The money that's being put toward mental health is probably never going to be enough. It's a vast country with vast regional and local issues where there aren't enough people who can get access to mental health. So that number is probably not enough. Increasing security at schools, that means kind of a term that I think we've forgotten, the school to prison pipeline, where that means darker skinned individuals in schools have more contact with police, and that does lead to issues of racism and targeting that put people into prisons. That's also putting more guns in schools when we hear of security, even if that may mean locked doors. And lastly, I think that this doesn't address, and I don't know how it would actually, issues of media. We continue to have Hollywood putting out a massive amount of violent films that are celebrated by journalism, celebrated by talk show hosts and celebrities and audiences. And it doesn't do anything to address the gun manufacturing that these people these companies are manufacturing guns that can be altered and turned into massive weapon machines. And we're not addressing the manufacturing of those.
Robert, until the next time, really appreciate it. Take care. Robert Gutsche from Lancaster University. Have a good weekend.